What if I told you the West's biggest fear isn't war, isn't terrorism, but an African leader who's actually keeping his people at home? That leader is not in Europe, not in America, but in the heart of West Africa. His name is Captain Ibrahim Traoré. While Donald Trump yells America first, Traoré quietly builds Burkina First, a vision that could end migration, reject foreign exploitation, and unite a whole continent. But instead of support, he's being watched with suspicion. Why? Because the global north doesn't fear failure in Africa, they fear success. Stay with us. Like this video, subscribe to the African Reset, turn on notifications, and join the conversation in the comments.
In an ironic twist of global politics, two leaders thousands of miles apart are preaching the same message. Put your country first. Donald Trump made America first a rallying cry, insisting that the United States reduce foreign aid, tighten immigration, and rebuild national pride. But in West Africa, Captain Ibrahim Traoré is doing exactly that for Burkina Faso. He is nationalizing resources, empowering youth, expelling foreign troops, and asking one bold question: why can't Africans stay home and thrive? At first glance, the two men sound alike. But while Trump's vision builds walls, Traoré builds bridges between African nations, with BRICS partners, and with a future free from neocolonial control. That's the real difference. Trump fears the world changing. Traoré is leading that change. According to The Guardian, Trump's administration sought to slash aid to Africa and severely restricted immigration pathways for African nations, including through visa bans and tighter refugee rules. At the same time, as cited in Reuters, the Pentagon actively expanded military cooperation in the Sahel, focusing on Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, primarily to secure America's geopolitical interests and monitor rival powers like China and Russia. In other words, the US didn't want Africans in America, but still wanted boots and influence in Africa. Meanwhile, Traoré was charting a different course. Since seizing power in a popular uprising in 2022, Traoré has expelled French troops, suspended military agreements that allowed foreign interference, and reopened negotiations on foreign mining contracts. According to Al Jazeera, Burkina Faso under Traoré has taken bold steps to reclaim national dignity and economic control, not by turning inward, but by turning to partners who treat African nations as equals, not as colonies. And what is Burkina Faso protecting? Not uranium that belongs to neighboring Niger, where Western nations have long relied on uranium for nuclear energy. Instead, Burkina Faso is rich in gold, manganese, zinc, and phosphate. These resources have attracted foreign companies for decades, while Burkinabes remained among the poorest people on earth. Traoré has vowed to change that. Le Monde reported that his administration is revisiting mining agreements and pushing for local ownership and beneficiation. No more extraction without transformation. No more gold exports while citizens live in poverty. Now here's the contradiction. Trump wants fewer African migrants. But when Traoré does exactly what would reduce migration, creating economic hope, building local infrastructure, stabilizing security, he gets no support. Instead, he's met with global suspicion, sanctions threats, and a media narrative framing him as a radical. Why? Because Traoré's success would prove a dangerous point to the West, that Africa doesn't need to be rescued, it just needs to be left alone to succeed. Let's be clear, Captain Traoré is not anti-global. He is pro-global fairness. He doesn't want Burkina Faso cut off from the world. He wants Burkina Faso and Africa to engage the world as equals, not as tools. That's why his government is seeking deeper ties with BRICS, a bloc that offers technology, development finance, and military cooperation without colonial conditions. Traoré believes in a globalization that enhances development, raises the Human Development Index, and allows Burkinabes to contribute to the world, not be drained by it. Contrast that with Trump's war-building policies, his nationalist isolation, and his disdain for multilateralism. While Trump's America First seeks to shut others out, Traoré's Burkina First is about inviting new partners in, on equal terms. That's not radical, that's strategic.
What we're witnessing isn't just about Burkina Faso or even Africa, it's about the global order being rewritten. Traoré is part of a new wave of African leaders rejecting foreign tutelage. They don't want foreign aid. They want justice. They don't want to flee the continent. They want to fix it. And that's where the West begins to panic. If the US and its allies truly cared about reducing migration, they would support leaders like Traore. Because when a Burkinabe child has access to school, healthcare, clean water, and a job, that child grows up in their country, not on the Mediterranean Sea or at the southern US border. Migration drops, not because of walls, but because of hope. The truth is uncomfortable. America First wants fewer Africans, but not a stronger Africa. Western economies benefit from Africa staying poor. They profit from underpriced minerals, outsourced security, and cheap labor. That's why they can't allow Traore's model to succeed. Because if Burkina Faso can rise without them, what excuse do they have left?
And for African citizens, this is the moment of awakening. We must support leaders who invest in us, not those who obey foreign capitals. If Traore is attacked, it's not because he's extreme. It's because he's effective. He is shifting power, not begging for it. He is restoring value, not exporting it. That is leadership Africa has not seen in decades. And to Western audiences watching, especially investors and policymakers, let this be your lesson. Real long-term peace doesn't come from sanctions or surveillance. It comes from fairness, respect Africa's choices, support African-driven development. Because you can't say you want fewer migrants and then sabotage the very leaders who are making that possible. Lesson learned. Migration isn't Africa's failure. It's the West's refusal to let Africa win on its own terms. Traore is proving that when Africans lead with dignity, fewer need to leave, and that is the real solution. So now we ask you, is the West truly ready to see an Africa that thrives without its control, or will it keep punishing leaders like Traore for choosing dignity over dependence? Comment below. We may feature your response in our next video. Like this video to support African sovereignty, subscribe to the African Reset, and hit the bell so you never miss a fearless episode. Share this message because an informed Africa is a powerful Africa. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered.